So this is a lesson plan for first grade, and it's exploring the Columbia River. Okay, so the lesson overview, it's for grade level first grade, and the focus is for Washington Geographic and informational text. And the duration should be like 45 minutes. It's pretty simple. So the central focus is for students to explore the geography of Columbia River, and then students identify the river on maps and then digital maps as well. And students read an informational text and write explanatory sentences. Based off what the teacher asks of them. And then the learning standards. The first one for the Washington Social Studies, I chose G111, and it says be able to identify local geographic locations and bodies of water. And the G112 is be able to identify large continental land masses on the map or globe. And for the literacy ones, the first one is to identify main ideas and then key details. And then the second one is write informative explanatory texts. And so the learning target is I can explain how the Columbia River affects people. I can locate the Columbia River on a map, and I can write sentences using evidence from the text. And then for language development, for academic vocabulary, they will have river, dams, electricity, community, and Washington. And the language functions, they will explain, identify, and describe. And they will also be provided with syntax frames. So, for instance, the Columbia River is important because one fact about the Columbia River I learned is, and then the river helps people because. And then the materials and technology. So each student will have like small individual maps, and then their journals, like EOLA journals they'll need, and then they'll have sentence starters. And then for their informational text, what this lesson has is that it's because of the clues, they were so like a first grader wouldn't really understand it. We kind of added all of them together into one and explanatory text that it's very like precise and very short and concise for children to understand. And it's all about like the Columbia River. And then the muscle map, the puzzle map, Explorer digital map. So that's going to be needed as well. And then a computer and a document camera. Okay, so the lesson sequence starts as the introduction, and it should take about 10 minutes. So here the teacher introduces the Columbia River on their classroom map, and the classroom map will be like a big, large map that the teacher will have, and then students will share what they notice and wonder. And then the puzzle map activity, it's 10 minutes, so the teacher will show a clue. Depending on who's doing the lesson, they can make a clue of the Columbia River, and that it relates to the Columbia River. In this instance, we chose our clue that was nuclear water. So basically, it's harbor. It's like a area in no, not harbor. What's the new Hanford at the Hanford Monument here in Tri-Cities. So we chose that, and we kind of explain what it does. Like because of the Columbia River being there, it helps people be able to go boating, picnics, and stuff like that, even fishing and hunting. But because of this, we deleted the hunting part because I think it wouldn't be really good for first graders. So then fishing, we'll stay with fishing. Um, and then the informational text reading. So the reading, after the teacher reads the simplified nonfiction text, it's basically going to talk about how, I actually have it here, I believe. Or maybe I don't. I don't. Basically it's on my like actual thingy, but it basically explains how the Columbia River helps with like the dams that are there help electricity for like neighborhoods and then the communities surrounding the area. And then it also the Columbia River helps farmers water their plants, and then really like very simple words that they know, like farmers. And then in dams before the we actually like introduce the word because we have that vocabulary. They'll know that vocabulary beforehand. And then students will discuss the text and then the Columbia River and how the river helps people based off what they read. And we made the informational text in a way that like they will be able to get the answers from there. And it's not too like, oh, they have to find it. It's pretty there for them. And then the writing activity, it's 10 minutes. And then it's sentence starters provided for support. And then students can write 1 to 3 sentences using text evidence. And then the closing activity, it's like the teacher reviews all learning targets. And then students draw or point to the Columbia River on their individual map. And then, yeah, that way, like, teachers can know like what they understood or what they didn't understand from the lesson, which is basically they need to be able to identify the Columbia River. So hopefully they do after the lesson. So the differentiation and UDL, it has visuals, maps, digital maps, sentence starters, and pictures, which it helps. And then for EOL students, it's simplified vocabulary, gestures, visuals, partner talks, and sentence frames. And then for special educational students, it's like chunk steps. So it's not like all in one, it's like little by little. The lesson is kind of divided. And then they also can have one-on-one support. So if the teacher will go around and like help them, or if the teacher can't, hopefully there's parapros there to help assist them. And then they'll have visual cues as well. And then for flexible outcomes, students may write only 1 to 3 sentences. So depending on their skill level, they can choose to only write 1 or 3, but depending on what they can, so they don't really stress about it. So supporting theories, it supports the constructivism because students build on prior knowledge. And then the Vygotsky, it's because they're learning through social interaction, because there's a lot of like discussions with what they believe, and after they like so if they're looking at the map, they have like questions, the teacher asks questions, and then they could think, and then they could like talk to one another and then like come back as a group. And on the think, it actually like explains it in much more detail. So the student voice, so they can turn and talk, discussions, sharing observations and connections, and then choice of sentence starters. And then the connection to prior learning is students previously learned map basics. So they already like know how to like use a map, or where like what is a map. And so it's not too new for them. And then it builds toward future Washington geographic lessons, because in the future, it's going to be like not just the Columbia River, but other like landmarks, a part of Washington. And then that should be it. Thank you. Have a good day and God bless. And then how do I
Just record, stop
oh,
recording.
okay.